But what's going to push you over the top? It's the assistant storytelling. Greetings, it is I, Ryan R. Williams, your proverbial acting coach and founder of Screen Actor System. Today in this video, you are going to learn how to avoid a fly and maintain your position on camera. Now that that part of the lesson is over, you're going to learn text analysis. That sounds really scary. It's not. It's something that's going to free you from ever having to memorize again. Your booking ratio is going to go through the roof. You're never going to be scratching your head wondering what to do with those audition sides ever again. Did you think as an actor you're going to be cramming information in your head for the rest of your life as though you're cramming for a test? Well, stop that. I'm going to show you a way to learn the scene rather than memorize the scene. I'm going to show you a way to learn your lines rather than figure out how you say them. Not learn them by rote, not learn them like you're cramming for a test, but to really, truly, in a genuine way, internalize, learn your lines by peeling that onion. You'll never have to do the boring memorization again. You'll get to do the fun memorization. The part of memorization that's truly fun is being the private investigator, discovering the material. Well, let's do the fun part. Why do we always leave the fun part out of it? So many acting classes have ridiculous policies, like they have that box of scripts, and they say, go get your scene for tonight, and you're gonna go learn it in 10 minutes in the parking lot. And they say, don't write on it. Don't write on that scene. God forbid you write on the scene and do the job of a real actor and do some text analysis, because that scene goes back in the box, and next week, the teacher gives the same old stale critique, sort of going off of what they assume the scene is supposed to be, and never really letting you do that work. These cold reading classes that seem like great fast food easy answers are depriving you of the ceremony, the glory of truly digging in and doing scene study. Scene study, your auditions, the work you'll ultimately do in television and film as an actor will require you to break down an entire script. I've written about this in my Backstage Expert column, and it's going to be very, very critical for your survival as an actor who could potentially have dozens of auditions a week, parts that you've booked, boom, boom, going back and forth. You're going to be very busy. This is going to help you. Sit back, enjoy the ride, watch the video. We're going to talk a little bit about one of the areas that can cause you to stand out amongst your peers beyond making a strong emotional argument with minimum movement, holding a frame. That'll probably put you into the top 3 percentile of film actors in LA. I would guess 3 percentile. That's not gonna be good enough. You're still doomed. You still have very high odds of being doomed. Like literally, probably you're still rolling a 25-sided dice to even book a simple part ever in your life. And how many rolls of the dice do you get? That'll be determined by how many auditions you get. How many auditions do you get a year? Each one of those is a roll of the dice for you. What are your odds? You must increase two things: your odds of booking the part and the number of parts you're being called in to audition for. Then you've been a banker. You're just looking at the numbers going, of course that's what you must increase. You must increase the number of auditions and increase the likelihood of booking them. And you'll get to a threshold where you become an inevitability instead of an unlikely investment. So, how do you become an inevitability? Well, let's just assume our state management's dialed in and we're getting enough auditions that we have a real shot at the tables here. We have enough rolls of the dice that, you know, on any given day, if you're still auditioning, you might only have a 1 in 10 chance. You know, even if you're really a premium actor with a nice rate who doesn't just work for a minimum, you're not going to be someone who's a total deadlock for the part because you're still auditioning. If you're a total deadlock for the part, they made you an offer. There were no auditions, right? So they're trying a few people out. So how do I best them? The number one way that most people don't engage in, the number one thing actors can do to book a part that they don't engage in is what we talk about in here as assistant storytelling. Very quickly, I'm going to break down the assistant storytelling for you. I realized how important this was when I was at a film festival and I was talking to another filmmaker there. Interesting guy. He was actually one of the faculty members at Carnegie Mellon Drama School, very prestigious drama school. And he'd made a film. I think he'd made a film. I don't maybe even know why he was there. But as I was discussing things with him, I'll never forget the conversation because we actually had it at Mission Control at NASA, which was very incongruent to me. we were touring Mission Control, like the Mission Control Museum of like the old Apollo Mission Control. And we're like, oh yeah, that's fucking Mission Control. Anyway, tell me more about the program at Carnegie Mellon, because I'm more obsessed with this shit than, you know, Mission Control is great, but you know, I ain't kind of over it. Let's talk about what we give a shit about, movies. Like, because I got 10 minutes where Mission Control is really exciting, where I go, wow, Apollo 13 got it right. All right, let's talk to the Carnegie Mellon guy about acting. That's more interesting to me. So, we're talking about acting, and he says they have this showcase, and I might be getting some of these details wrong, but the seniors, or the people that are graduating, it might be the graduate school, the people that are clearing out of the program at the end of their cycle of going through their drama school get a showcase with major Hollywood agents. I said, oh, that's a cool thing to do. And he goes, yeah. And I go, how many of them get signed? And he goes, it's about half of them. And I went, oh, that's cool. That's really good. It's like a good program. Everyone's thinking like, oh, I should drop out and go to Carnegie Mellon Drama School. There's a downside of spending 4 or 5 years in drama school and a few $100,000 and moving to Philadelphia and all that too. So don't just think that's your ticket, the drama school at Carnegie Mellon, because it's still a coin toss, right? But I said, cynically, I said, oh, a bunch of Hollywood agents come out high. I go, who do they choose? All the good-looking people? And he goes, no. And I was like, oh, that doesn't sound like Hollywood agents. Who do they choose? And he goes, you know, funnily enough, I've thought of that. And he goes, the best I can figure is I teach the freshman text analysis class. And he goes, it tends to be the people who got an A in their freshman text analysis class. He goes, that's the biggest correlation I can see. And I was like, why do you think that is? And he goes, because the showcase is 2 actors get 10 minutes to do whatever they want in front of top Hollywood agents. And the ones that are good storytellers pick better material. They know how to render it. It becomes a fun 10-minute play that the agent gets transported on a theatrical journey with. And the ones who tuned out of their text analysis and their assistant storytelling, as I call it, or in their program, I'm sure it was called Text Analysis 101 or whatever, those that tuned out of that class and just thought, don't worry about it. Once I get there, I'll figure out what's going on. The most important thing is I'm handsome, right? That's all I need. Handsome. Dramatic, too. I can feel shit. Let the nerds worry about the story. Whatever stupid fantasy world this movie's supposed to be, I'll just be the cool guy. You know, that's not going to work. Do you think that's why Tom Cruise is still working at, what, 56 years old, killing it? Is that why every Mission Impossible movie has been better than the one before it? That's the weird thing about Mission Impossible. The first one's like, yeah, Brian De Palma. 2 was maybe a step sideways, maybe lateral, maybe back. Definitely 3 was better than 1 and 2. 4 was better than 3. 5 was at least as good as 4. And I'm hearing, by all reports, the new Mission Impossible is better than any of them. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, and how? So what's Tom Cruise's secret? Is it 1996? Is he 35? No, he's 55. Scientology. But you know what? In a weird sort of way, I'm not endorsing that as a choice for an actor necessarily either, but I do think that his sense of the written word and understanding the meaning of the written word, which is very key in Scientology. They're very like, you know, understand this word, understand this writing, take this writing and understand it and apply it. I think that does overlay into his approach. I think that's why the Mission Impossible movies are getting better. I think that's why he's unstoppable, because he's thinking as the writer. He's thinking as the assistant storyteller, as a producer. How do I render this? How do I make this happen? He's getting that Carnegie Mellon showcase to work in his favor by being a huge nerd. Some of you guys will remember Sharonis, who was in class. Now he's killing it on a TV show called Insecure. I saw him at the Comedy Store, and it was a very weird experience for me because I went up to him and I was like, hey, Sharonis, what's going on, man? Didn't expect to see you here. And the person I was with, she says, oh my God, you know Dro? And I go, no, I know Sharonis. and I go, Dro? And he goes, oh yeah, man. And she's getting her phone out, and he goes, do you want a picture? And I was thinking, oh, this is shtick. All right, do you want a picture with one? She does want a picture. Wow. So, I'll take the picture. Then I was like, okay, Dro, we're taking pictures. Looks like my date's a fan. You just want to get to know each other? Should I fuck off now that what are we, famous? And this was kind of the way this was kind of the way that it got exposed to me, because I do live under sort of a rock. I knew he'd booked that, but you don't know until you're in a public space. And good for fucking him, right? And I'm using him as an example because A, he should be continuing that journey, not getting caught up in that maelstrom of study. But B, right in this very room, I'll never forget going into the exact spiel I just did, and like clockwork, every couple months, his seat would be like it was like on fire, and he would just fucking run out in the lobby. And I noticed that I'm hypervigilant, so I noticed everything. I noticed the first 2 times he fucking bounced on text analysis. We talked about it for about 20 minutes. He kind of peeked his head back in. He goes, "Oh, is that shit over?" He sat down. He hadn't really booked anything at this point. And I took him aside and I said, "Next time we do text analysis, you need to be there with bells on. This is going to change your fucking life." Now, he could rely on the fact that he was a movie buff and had kind of an innate sense of movies and love for movies. That's going to help you. Any of you guys that are movie buffs, you already are pretty close to being an assistant storyteller. You just haven't articulated it in a way that's going to help you put pen to paper and dissect a scene. Once he figured that out and realized I've got to buckle down and really get good at analyzing a script, it was connect the dots, months-long journey, short order between that, book a lead in a Spike Lee movie, book the HBO, book the, hey, your name's Dro? Let me get a picture with Dro. Ridiculous, in a way, because I go, this is the guy that wouldn't fucking learn text analysis. Now he's Dro. Good for him. Glad he learned text analysis, and I'm very glad he brought that scene that he auditioned for that show with into class. Whereas text analysis, he knew how to do it. I think he'd done it wrong. He started playing it a little bit more, I don't know what the word is. He was playing it a little bit more like, I think they want a gangster type of guy. And I was like, no, they probably just want you. Just be you. Just bring your essence to it. And so I kind of worked with him on it. He booked it. Now, he wouldn't have even been in that conversation without the bookings that came before. And he wouldn't have been in the conversation for those bookings without the text analysis. This is something that I know. So if you don't think this is for you because it's too academic, I'm sorry. We're going to go over this quickly. This is the thing that Yale Drama School uses, or I don't want to say the school writ large, but a professor at Yale Drama School contacted me and said, hey, I read your Backstage article. Can I teach my text analysis class with it? I was like, I didn't know you needed to ask permission for that, but that seems kind of like I should probably save this email, fucking take a screenshot of it and be like, look at that, bitch, at yale.com.org. Fucking what's up with me? You know, so I said, okay, cool. Yale, yeah, use it. So here's the basic premise. And you can get this at Screen Actors System under the resources, as well as a list of actable verbs. Go to screenactorsystem.com. You'll get a list of actable verbs, very handy. Basically, an objective works like this. At the top of every scene, you should form an objective. Right when you get your material, form an objective. Answer as many basic questions as you can. What page am I on? If that's answerable, a lot of times they don't tell you the page number. Once you know the overall structure of a movie, that'll be very handy. Point of attack, the very beginning. Inciting incident, the Act 1 turning point, which leads us to symbolic growth. The midpoint declaration, rock bottom. Light at the end of the tunnel, Act 2 climax, which leads us into Act 3, which leads us to the climax and resolution. What page am I on as I'm looking at these 2 pages that I'm going to do for my scene in class? What character am I? Am I the main character? Am I the sidekick? Am I the love interest? Am I the supporting role who's an opposing force? Am I a supporting role who's helping the hero? Am I the reflection? Am I the wise sage who's already been on the hero's journey? Am I the villain? Once you know that and you know what page number you're on, a lot of questions are answered. Guess what's going to answer every other question besides that as you analyze your text? Guess what's going to answer every other question? Your objective. What does your character want? Based on all these parameters of the story I've just examined, what does my character want in this context? Go to screenactorsystem.com, resources, look at the way I've outlined an objective. It is definitive. The way I do objectives is definitive, not because Yale Drama School uses it to teach objectives, although they do. It's definitive because I'm right and everyone else is wrong, and I took the time to dive into what actually works as a playable objective. It is this: I want to, actable verb, so that another character in the scene will feel or do something very specific that I can see. And I am willing to list other secondary actable verbs that will help me with that objective. I want to, actable verb, so another character in the scene will feel or do something specific. I want to intimidate the class so that they will write down objectives, right? And I am willing to obviously go to the mat to do that. I'm willing to record a YouTube video so I never have to go over that shit again. So here's the thing. Once you have that objective, you absolutely use it to guide all your other decisions. You have to find all the beats in a scene. Find all the beats in the scene, what I like to call shifts, because something has to change. What's a beat? What's a shift? A shift is when some new information comes in. When a question is asked or answered and we move on to a new topic, here's the thing. You guys absolutely want to inform your scene based on creating beats and an objective. When you have those beats, when they're nice and clear, when you have an objective, when it's nice and clear, all the decisions will become obvious. You might say, well, how else can I find beats? Entrances and exits. Whenever a new character enters or exits the scene, that's a different scene because now you have a different configuration of characters. When someone gets what they want, which rarely happens, someone might be saying, and usually if the writer's smart, someone gets what they want, they'll exit the scene. I want this, I want this, I want this. Someone caves in and gives it to them, they'll exit the scene. And the remainder of the scene will be between the two people who don't have what they want yet. You don't ever go, I got what I want, and let me linger for the rest of the scene. That's a very tough scene to play. You'll come into that sometimes. And there's always the case that you might have a scene where you're playing two objectives. This happens sometimes. But you have to absolutely, guys, be able to hold a lot of paradoxes in your hand at the same time. Hold two opposing ideas in your hand at the same time. Very simplistic to just think there's one simple, easy answer. Beats aren't a scientific measurement. There's no way we can really totally quantify them. It's an intuitive thing. But once we have the beat, something has to change on every beat. An activity has to start or stop. I'm chopping broccoli in the scene. Someone comes in and says, hey, there's terrorists shooting up the 29th floor. Oh, yeah? I keep chopping broccoli. Guess what that means about me? I don't give a fuck about, all right, I don't give a fuck about this. There's something. That tells me something. There's terrorists shooting up the 29th floor. It's Die Hard. I'm chopping broccoli. I cut my finger. What? You know, there's blood coming off my finger. That's a better way to play it if that's news to me. That helps you get out of the fact that you can only play anger, sadness, love, joy, or fear. You can't play surprise. You'll need those techniques of text analysis to play things like surprise. Some of you guys are thinking, Ryan, this is basic review. Well, no shit, but you know what? When you get up and do your scenes in class tonight, will you be doing this stuff? Did you put pen to paper? Did you draw a line across the page that says, here is a beat, and it's definitive, and I've decided that? Or is your page fucking blank? I won't make you hold them up. I don't want to know. Just stop doing it the wrong way if you're not doing it this way. Stop doing it the wrong way if you're not doing it this way. Once you've established the beat, you can start or stop an activity on a beat change. You can start or stop an emotional obstacle on a beat change. Now this new information comes up. I'm fighting the obstacle of anger at this point. Yes, you know what emotions you're going to play. It's a movie. It's not a game. It's not some silly thing where you get to go, la-ti-frickin-die, make up whatever emotion I want. No, you play the emotion you're told to play by the script supervisor who watched the master shot, and however you played it in the master shot, you're locked in, buddy. You're locked in for the rest of the day. That's the reality of making movies. Anybody else tells you anything other than that? Welcome to Hollywood. You're getting told a lie. The acting teacher lie. All this stuff will take care of itself if you just trust your instincts. Go with what feels right. Yeah, do that. Do that in your audition. Then go and do what feels right in your, and maybe you'll even book the part. Then do what feels right on the first take, and the script supervisor will go, that was great. Okay, on the second line, you just got to remember, that's where you sat down, that's where you started to cry, that's where you yelled at him, and okay, so you can do that on your close-up. Great. And then you go, no, this is all news to me. I'm just going to do what feels instinctual in my close-up. Guess what the script supervisor is going to do? By the way, these people are there every day. You're not, if you have a small part. Script supervisors are going to come to me. I know them. I'm the director. I'm going to go, what's up? And they go, we got a problem, huge problem. This actor's not going to agree to continuity. And I go, really? My first computation, did I like what I saw in the master shot? You better pray I loved it. Because if I didn't love it, I'll go, cool, let's go to our cover shot, cover location, put them in a trailer, give me the person we had on a veil here right away, and they're fired. They just don't know it yet. We're going to put them in a trailer for 3 hours till the other actor gets here. I'm going to go film the thing I don't need them for, and then they'll just be quietly told we don't need them anymore. Because I don't have time for resistance. And I certainly, if I'm directing my little TV show episode, and I'm a little bit on shaky ground anyway, that day player, that guest star, that co-star, you're not fucking up my job. And if you're gonna fuck with the script supervisor, who's then gonna get a bad report back from the editor, which reflects on me as the director, and I got another guy I like just as much for this part practically as you, who's on a veil, you're fucking out the door. And your acting teacher will be the person that gets you fired from your first job the first time you come in like a rookie and go, I'm here to trust my instincts. Bullshit. You better execute a plan. You better execute a plan that makes sense for that genre, for that show, for that format, for the basic structures of movies. And it better goddamn well be repeatable throughout a wide array of angles and coverages. And if you don't make harmony with that confine, then you'll always be at disharmony with it, and it will eventually destroy you. The thing that's going to save you the most is the plan. I have the objective, I have the beats. You mark the beats, things can change on each one of the beats. Certain things can change. Certain things can't change. That's what you call continuity. I can't really decide at the end of the day, like if right here I was going to say, well, guys, it's about all I have to say about text analysis. By God, on my close-up, guess what's going to happen? I'm not going to go, well, guys, you know, at the end of the day, that's about all I have to say about text analysis. You know why I wouldn't do it that way? You're not going to be able to punch in for my close-up. It'd be way cooler if I'm doing it perfect and in the wide shot that glass comes up, then you punch in right for a match cut on the action of the bottle coming down. That's your way into my close-up. That's going to be so much stronger. And the editor's just going to go, I get to look at Ryan and pick the best moment of those two takes. And I'm going to go right in, and the continuity is perfect. So the activity, if you really want to underline a point, it's the activity changes or the emotional obstacle changes. The other last final frontier of this, which you guys can use in this warm-up exercise. Some of you guys are like, oh my God, this sounds so complicated. It's not actually that complicated. It's complicated if you're in a paradigm where this seems impossible to you. If you're in a paradigm where this is already possible to you, you're going, this is review, and it might even be a little frustrating. So, the other thing you can change that's very useful that people underestimate on film from beat to beat is change a point of focus. Where are you looking, or an eye line, or both? Where am I looking? My eye line. Where my attention is going, my point of focus. They can be lined up, or they can be together, or they can be bifurcated, separated. But if my eye line's going here and someone to the right of me starts talking, my point of focus can go to them and my eye line can remain here. And that will say something about how much attention I have on them. It'll also flow a lot of power and attention and interest and intrigue to this person if I look right at them. I might be more inclined to look right at them if I'm the sidekick, and that's the hero. If I'm the hero and my sidekick's talking, I'm looking at the villain, I might just be like, that's right, sidekick. You tell him, but I'm not going to look at you because then I'm the sidekick. You know, I lose power if I look at you, sidekick. All those decisions get filtered through, and they're all made well in advance. And guys, when you start acting like that, when you're a pro, you can start. By the way, you might say, well, that doesn't sound very creative. It sounds very formulaic. You know what? Creativity comes from the formula. You're not that creative when you're just free form. If I just told you to come up here and be a piece of bubble gum and just go, you're being chewed, you're a piece of bubble gum. Pretend you're being chewed by a rhino and you're the bubble gum. No, now do it like you're cinnamon bubble gum. All that's gonna be, it's bullshit. You know, it's not really that high level creativity people think games like that are. High level creativity is when you go, no, I'm the villain. I'm going to just look him dead in the eye. My henchman means nothing to me. In fact, if I look at my henchman, I'm going to look at him after he says the really stupid thing, and I'm going to look at him with disdain, because then that makes me seem like I'm of lower character, you know, because I disdain my own cohorts. You know, you're going to make decisions that are very smart and strategic to help you tell the story, and you're going to boil it down to, just remember this, we'll close with this. A movie is 45 roughly to 60 scenes that are roughly 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes long. A movie is comprised of 3 acts. You might refer to them as beginning, middle, and an end. The industry refers to them as Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. Within each of those acts, you have sequences. Making up those sequences, you have scenes. Making up those scenes, You have what I call shifts because something has to become different on each one, or what a lot of people call beats. Making up each beat is something nobody talks about, and that is a communication. And mostly what we deal with as we get into scene study in class, and what we're going to be dealing with in this exercise and on to the scene study, which we'll get into right after this. Mostly what we deal with in this class is not disrupting communication. Your work ethic, doing your text analysis this way, it will define you. It will define you over and over and over and over and over for the rest of your career. Just like those kids at Carnegie Mellon. And this is something that I know. So bring it next time. You asked for it, and now I'll be able to just go to this video on the website for the next person who asks for it and say, watch the video, because you know what? Most actors turn off. It feels too academic. Just saying text analysis alone makes people scared. I should call it story time. And I should have shot this at Disneyland and gone, hey guys, it's story time. I'm standing in front of the magical castle at Disneyland to tell you how to help do story time. And they have a little doo-doo-doo, and then everyone would be like, I can like story time, but I say, text analysis is something that is very essential to a cargo. You get very uptight about text analysis, but don't, because the anti-intellectual side of you is going to run very contrary to filmmakers. One thing I know about filmmakers, good or bad filmmakers, by the way, the IQ is very high. I would guess, actually, if you did an IQ test of filmmakers versus other fields, film director who actually gets movies into release, I would say would be among the top smartest fields out there. I would say the average IQ is well north of 140. Well north. I don't even know if I'd go that low. The film directors that I know that are actually working, getting their stuff out there, the kind of conversations we have, you guys think sometimes I get a little esoteric in class, you would just go, what the fuck is this guy talking about with him? And we'd be like, we barely know. We're like, we're trying to see how far the fuck out we can go with this conversation. We're holding on by a thin thread too, my friend. But that's just something that I know. So the anti-intellectual side of actors, that's what puts you at the kids' table. Directors also need the personality of an actor. They need the creativity of an actor, and someone who's smart, who's able to hang with the grown-ups at the grown-up table and have these kind of discussions and at least know those type of basics about the story. You're going to be rewarded. I guarantee it. All right, now let's have group number one come on down. We're going to jump in. I'm going to move the camera. We're going to film this. We're going to watch the playback. Again, I'm Ryan R. Williams, your proverbial acting coach for Screen Actor System. Be sure to click subscribe and get the bell notification turned on so you can get more free class from Screen Actor System. And if you'd like to audit Screen Actor System, go ahead and visit www. Aren't I an old guy going with my www? I'm going to stick with it. http://www.screenactorsystem.com. All right, here we go. And 3, 2, 1, background action. Everybody, background action. Let's crowd it in. Come on, let's get some more people. And action.
Hello, I'm Ryan R. Williams. I'm a Hollywood film and television director, writer, cinematographer, and editor by trade.
Go on, get your half-reds.
You're mad as hops.
3 nights a week, I train actors just like you how to actually perform in front of a camera.
Welcome, everyone. I'm glad you're all
As you
here.
consider the benefits of attending our ongoing on-camera scene study class, you might like to imagine that this class will be the one that will shape you into an A-picture screen star, joining the world class you are destined to become a part of today.
Rebels, today is the future. And you all stand with me here today for a purpose. I know you're scared. I am too. But we have an opportunity here today to stop those who would rob us. You all exist for a reason, for a purpose. We are meant to create.
Movie stars typically develop their skill set over many years of watching dailies or several seasons on a hit TV show. They got lucky. Now you can come make your own luck, develop your own cinematic style, and create your own reel, just like the ones you're seeing now.
Look around you.
Give me what I want.
Look, I'm with you, okay? I'm with you.
Now you don't have to catch a break to get time on a real set. Now you make your own break.
You make it happen.
Now it's your time and your turn.
You have my number. Give me a call.
The footage you're watching was all shot during our weekly scene study class. Hard to believe? Well, believe it. I say go big or go home. We shoot in 4K Ultra HD, on location with production sound and pro color correction.
I love you.
Everybody has their own take and their own personality.
I love you. Okay. Do you want to go to Denny's?
Who you are as a person is what Hollywood is interested in. But they have to have something to see, and you have to learn how to let the camera capture who you are.
Here we go. I just want to know that I care.
This class is where you will learn the control, the precision, and the focus required to reach the top as a film actor.
I don't doubt it.
With Screen Actors System, you'll watch proper, fully produced dailies every month that you're the star of, and I will guide you through a journey of intense and rapid improvements through weekly scene study and self-observation that will ready you in a real way for the big show. I imagine you, like me, know how important great footage is these days. Now, you, like me, also know how hard good footage is to come by. It can take months, even years, to chase down, and even when the filmmaker finally lets you have it, you know you can do better than that. You must become a master on your own terms and move quickly as you want this to happen. The sooner you put together an outstanding reel, the sooner you will begin to make your living as an actor. Reel is the new gatekeeper. How's your reel looking? Does it reflect who you really are and what you want to bring to the table? The sooner you come in for your free audit, the sooner you join as a member and build your very own reel that will open doors to those auditions you've always wanted to be in, and the sooner you'll have the skill set necessary for a long-standing career.
I just need you to open up the doors for me.
It truly is yours for the taking.
Both want it.
But the dream doesn't get any closer
Let's
on
put
its
two
own.
to two together.
You have to come and get it now.
And make it happen. And we can put 2 to 2 together and do it 4 times. Quadruple it.